Hello, my name is Kennedy Smith, and I am presenting on the research article titled The Effects of Participation in a Group Music Therapy Voice Protocol, or a GMTVP, on the Speech of Individuals with Parkinson's Disease. Parkinson's disease affects many lives and can have a variety of symptoms. This article focused on how a specialized music therapy would affect the voices of a group of individuals with Parkinson's disease. Similar research has been done, while this study expanded on music therapy for Parkinson's disease patients in a group setting. Parkinson's disease is a degenerative neurological disorder that primarily affects the body's motor control, often including challenges with movement, tremors, balance, and stiffness. Parkinson's disease is progressive and has no cure. Many patients with Parkinson's disease face communication challenges or have a speech disorder. Many patients, around 90%, experience a type of speech motor disorder called hypokinetic dysarthria. Symptoms of hypokinetic dysarthria can include reduced loudness of voice, monotone or hoarse speech, and imprecise articulation. Speech therapy treatment is one method that can be utilized by Parkinson's disease patients to combat some hypokinetic dysarthria symptoms. The Lee-Silverman voice treatment is a highly regarded behavioral treatment designed towards improving the vocal qualities of those with Parkinson's disease, mainly focusing on increasing the intensity of an individual's voice. Researcher Ari Haneshi has since developed a similar speech therapy called Music Therapy Voice Protocol, or MTVP, directed towards Parkinson's disease patients that works to improve vocal intensity through singing. The current study used an adapted model of MTVP for a group setting. The purpose of this study is to answer the question, what are the effects of participation in a group adaptation of Haneshi's music therapy voice protocol on the intensity, fundamental frequency, and fundamental frequency variability of individuals with Parkinson's disease? For the method, there were 10 participants in the study between the ages of 59.1 and 84.4 years of age. Of the 10 participants, 7 were male and 3 were female. First, data was collected on the patients, including the amount of time they had a Parkinson's disease diagnosis, time they had been participating in the Parkinson's disease choir, which was already an established group at the time of the study, and time they had spent in previous speech therapy treatment. The GMTVP consisted of a Parkinson's choir group that met bi-weekly for 6 weeks, each session being 50 minutes long. Sessions included an opening conversation, physical warm-ups, facial warm-ups, breathing warm-ups, vocal exercises, singing, and a closing conversation. Voice samples were taken prior to the first GMTVP session in the study, the pretest. The probe was taken after 2 to 4 weeks of participation in the study, and the post-test was taken immediately before the final treatment of the study during the 6th, 7th, and 8th weeks after the pretest, when the participants were able to come to the session. The voice sample included a reading sample of 3 sentences read aloud from a phonetically balanced paragraph called the Rainbow Passage, and a conversational speech sample in which the participants were asked to speak for 30 seconds about a topic of their choosing. The voice recordings were analyzed using a software called PRAT, which provided the average intensity, fundamental frequency, and fundamental frequency variability for each recording. Fundamental frequency is the rate of vocal fold vibration measured in hertz and perceived as pitch. Fundamental frequency variability is the changes that occur in the rate of vocal fold vibration over time, also measured in hertz and perceived as pitch. The average intensity is the perceived loudness of one's voice and is measured in decibels. A one-way ANOVA for repeated measures was used to compare pretest, probe, and post-test measures of intensity measured in decibels. The graphs here are showing the resulting changes in intensity, fundamental frequency, and fundamental frequency variability. Of these 3 acoustic parameters that were measured in the study, one of them demonstrated a significant difference while 2 did not. The intensity of reading a passage showed a significant difference, shown in Figure 1, as compared to the non-significant increase in conversational speech intensity shown within the same figure. The gender-related acoustic parameters of fundamental frequency and fundamental frequency variability are shown separated by gender in the following figures. Figures 2 and 3 show fundamental frequency measures, of which they remained relatively stable over the course of the study. Figures 4 and 5 show the fundamental frequency variability of the participants, where the conversational speech increased insignificantly from pre to post-test, though there is a decrease during the probe for the male participants. Female participants showed a consistent increase in fundamental frequency variability of the reading passage, though the increase was insignificant. The results from the study provide evidence that participation in a group music therapy voice protocol had significant increases in the intensity of speech while reading, suggesting utilizing a group music therapy treatment may improve or maintain the vocal functioning of individuals with Parkinson's disease. The results of the study that showed increases, though not significantly, or even the maintenance of vocal function are proposed to be considered as progress due to the degenerative nature of Parkinson's disease. Similar studies found that the vocal intensity increased for individuals with neurogenic communication disorders after participation in a singing and rhythmic focused therapy, but it was not indicated whether this was for conversational speech or speech while reading. The study done by Aaron Haneshi on music therapy voice protocol had conflicting results to this study, where Haneshi's results showed an increase in vocal intensity for conversational speech. The researchers also reported that participation in the GMTVP was a rewarding leisurely activity for the participants. They pointed out that many individuals with Parkinson's disease experience depressive symptoms, which may correlate to a tendency to avoid conversations and social interactions due to communication challenges. Participating in the group choir setting provides a unique way for those with Parkinson's disease to interact with others while working on improving or maintaining vocal function. This study had some limitations in regard to its small sample size and unequal gender distribution. The study also did not have a control group to make comparisons to, something that would be particularly helpful when comparing the insignificant increases or the maintenance of vocal functions to others with the degenerative disorder of Parkinson's disease. Most of the participants in the study had also experienced other kinds of speech therapy treatment and/or had participated in the Parkinson's choir prior to the study. While there is some similar research done in this area, more is needed before the effectiveness of group music therapy treatment can be generalized to Parkinson's disease patients. Future studies should establish a true baseline for participants, ensuring that they have not previously engaged in a Parkinson's choir prior to GMTVP. A variable for future researchers to consider is the dosage of treatment over an appropriate length of time. Thank you for listening to my presentation.